Hello everyone and welcome to my mess of a channel. My name is Tay and I'm on a one-woman mission to piss off the entire K-pop community one fandom at a time. And what better way to do that than to speculate about our favorite groups disbanding? As an aging playgirl who still hasn't moved on from the loss of After School, I'm actually overqualified to speak on unfair group disbandment, so before you come at me in the comments, remember to whom you speak. Of course I don't want any of these groups to disband, but speculating about sad things somehow brings me comfort when these shitty things inevitably happen, so without further ado, let's get into the list of the groups I think will disband between this year and 2023. 1. Weeki Meki. Starting off with one of the less fortunate IOI spin-offs. I don't think the K-pop community will be too surprised with this one. Weeki Meki have struggled pretty much since debut, and though they have consistent comebacks, those comebacks have been barely successful enough to keep the group afloat. Add in all the drama happening behind the scenes with their company and the inability of the company to transfer Do Yeon and Yoo Young's popularity to the full group, and I wouldn't put any money on Weeki Meki lasting past their contract expiration too. Red Velvet. I know SM doesn't disband groups, not even when all the members quietly leave the company a la FX. However, like I said a while ago in my 2021 predictions video, I doubt all 5 members will re-sign with SM, and if 3 of the members leave, it will be the end of Red Velvet. I don't want this to happen as they are my ultimate girl group, but given SM's track record with keeping full groups together, it's a miracle Red Velvet has lasted this long with its full lineup. It's not like they're completely jobless or anything, but I can see a few members wanting to expand their horizons beyond what SM is willing to give them. So yeah, get ready for their next comeback to potentially be their last 3. Blackpink. Much like Red Velvet, I don't see all the members re-signing with YG when their contracts are up, but unlike Red Velvet, it's pretty obvious why the group won't be staying together. 1. YG treats them like shit. 2. Nobody really seems to care about being a Blackpink member. Jisoo wants to act, and if she's not wasting half her professional time as a girl group member, she'll have a lot more time to film dramas. Lisa of course wants to dance, but given that being in Blackpink doesn't let her showcase the best of her abilities, as their choreography doesn't always work with her strengths as a dancer, it's not clear what being in Blackpink brings her that she can't get elsewhere. Well, besides the money. But as we've seen from many idols who've left big companies, money isn't always everything. Rose and Jennie seem to be the members who are most interested in being solo pop stars, so when their contracts expire, I think they'll stay with YG after the Pink split up. 4. Pentagon. I'm a little iffy on this one since I'm not a Pentagon stan, and they've been doing much better in their recent releases than they ever have. Unfortunately, with Idol being so popular and successful, and Cube having recently debuted a new girl group and looking to debut another boy group soon, plus B2B being the undefeatable darlings of Korea that Cube would be crazy to ever let go of, I don't see Cube having much need for Pentagon anymore. Unless something out of the box happens again, like another viral hit, I don't think Pentagon will last much longer, and most of the members will leave Cube Entertainment altogether. I just think it's interesting how Pentagon were originally supposed to fill the hole left by Beast, but surprisingly, B2B were the ones to take over that flagship boy group role, several years into their careers no less. And speaking of being disappointed by Cube groups and their trajectory, you all know here this is going. 5. CLC. Optimistically, CLC were a mid-tier group. They were decently popular internationally, and with the right marketing and investment, they could have easily risen to be a top-tier group. They could have had a light stick and more music show wins and endorsements and world tours. But in our unfortunate timeline, Cube fumbled too hard too many times with this group to make it worth heavily investing in them for the final stretch of their contracts. While I do think they will release a goodbye song alongside their disbandment, I doubt OT4 will continue as a group after this year. I'll forever be angry about this. 6. KARD. Again, I said this in my old predictions video, but KARD are pretty much done at this point, especially considering recent revelations about Jiwoo being involved in a bullying scandal with her former April members. KARD are a group that were most valuable to their company as a touring act, and with that not being an option in recent years, they haven't had much to do, and therefore no money to bring in. And though JSEF is about to return from enlistment and Jiwoo seems to be moving on from her scandal, It's been years since Carter's been on the K-pop community's radar, and a 2022 comeback probably won't do as well as their releases from a few years ago, and I don't see the company having much need for them anymore. 7. iKON. We all know it's coming, and if you think iKON will magically stay together and release music as a group, even if they all leave YG, or even join Hangbin's label in some far-fetched pipe dream, I want a glass of whatever optimism juice you drink in the morning. While those would be ideal outcomes, it's more likely the group has a graceful disbandment and decides to go their own ways. iKON has always been the most useful to YG as a touring and festivals act, and with those being gone for all of 2020 and 2021, iKON's only activities were one comeback and joining the cast of Kingdom, neither of which was very profitable for YG. In short, I don't see what value iKON is bringing to YG anymore. That's not me saying they have nothing to offer us as fans or that they're talentless. I'm simply saying from a business perspective, they're not an asset to YG anymore. And we all know YG doesn't do shit for the group, so the sentiment goes both ways. At this point, YG doesn't need iKON, and iKON doesn't need YG, and while they could stay together and just leave the company, this path rarely works in the group's favor unless they've got major connections and positive relations with high-powered people in the industry, which iKON doesn't have a lot of. I think it's more likely that the boys split up and embark on solo endeavors, with a couple of members transitioning to acting and Dong Hyuk giving us the solo debut we've deserved for years now. 8. Big Bang. How is this the reality we're living in? Big Bang has not had a comeback in almost 6 years. At first, the obvious reason for this was enlistment, but then as soon as enlistment was over, we had to deal with the fallout of the Burning Sun scandal. And when it seemed Big Bang was ready to come back in full force as the superior OT4, when they were about to tear it up at Coachella and keep going with their legendary careers, COVID happened. Of course, it's easy for us to blame COVID for Big Bang not having a 2020 or 2021 comeback, and if they were from a smaller company where money was much tighter, or they were a lesser known group where a comeback could flop and make the company lose money in the long run, it would make a lot of sense. However, Big Bang is the star group of one of the biggest labels in K-pop and one of the most influential boy groups of all time. I can't imagine a single circumstance where a Big Bang comeback, especially one the industry has been waiting half a decade for, would flop. That being said, I'm gonna ruffle some feathers with this one. If Big Bang doesn't have a comeback this year, YG Entertainment is FUCKED, and I don't want to hear what about X Group. What about Y Group? Okay, don't embarrass yourself by comparing the money these mid-tier groups bring in to the money Big Bang and Blackpink bring in. I don't think YG would be stupid enough to willingly let go of Big Bang, considering they're one of the two groups keeping the lights on at that company, but if they don't let Big Bang have a comeback this year, their window of opportunity is pretty much closed. Things are a little more complicated now that Top has left the company and doesn't seem like he wants to be an idol anymore. But YG have also said that Big Bang are going to release a song soon, and I doubt he'd want to be excluded from such a huge event. But he's not going to wait around forever for YG to set up a comeback. My man got things to do. Then again, YG loves to announce songs and comebacks and never follow up on them, so who knows? Maybe we'll literally never hear from the group again and won't even get a goodbye song as a send-off, and we won't even be able to blame it on Top being under a different record label, but instead we can blame it on YG's ever-present incompetence. At this point, things are pretty up in the air about the future of the group, but I'm letting you all know now, if Big Bang does have a formal disbandment, I cannot be held responsible for the person I will become. Though their last comeback song being called Fuck It would be entirely on brand and highly iconic of them. And there we have it, my conspiracy-filled, half-baseless theories about the groups I think will be leaving us within the next year and a half. Though I wish they could all stay together. That is neither the nature of K-pop nor the music industry as a whole. Groups come and go, and if I could survive the 2016 through 2018 surprise purging of my favorite second-gen girl groups, we can get through the upcoming 2022 through 2023 loss of our third-gen groups if we go through it together. That's it for today's video. If you disagree with anything I said, remember, Tay is right about everything and arguing is pointless. Cancel me in the comments below and I'll see you in the next video. XOXO Gossip Girl.